Hi, Chapter 20. Half a crown each way with the bookie. Did I ever tell you how your grandmother turned me inside out? Inside out? Grandad nodded and put away his shovel. That's what I said. He ran his wheelbarrow into the shed and stood it against the wall. But Grandad, you can't. Your grandmother can do anything when she sets her mind to it, Grandad said, shaking his head. Why did she turn you inside out? Well, she gave me a warning the first time she caught me ringing a bookie. What's a bookie? Someone who takes bets on the races. Well, what's wrong with that? It's against the law, bookmaking. They could throw you in jail. What for? For having a bet? Well, that's not fair. Try telling that to the judge. But Granny lost all that money betting on the Melbourne Cup. Well, that's a different story when it came to me putting half a crown each way with the bookie. But you told me Granny bet £500,000 and lost the lot. That's right. And she wouldn't even let you bet 5 bob. She can be pretty hard, your grandmother. Well, what happened? I waited until she went to do her shopping and I was putting my bet on when your grandmother burst through the door and caught me on the phone. Again. Grandad shook his head. I warned you, she said. I told you what I'd do. What? I had my mouth wide open, said Grandad. While I was still talking to the bookie on the phone, your mother stuck her hand down my throat, turned me inside out just like that. Well, that must have hurt. Hurt? I tell you, I couldn't see, I couldn't hear, I couldn't sit down. Could you walk? With both feet turned inside out? How long did that last? Well, it seemed hours, though your grandmother said it was only a couple of seconds while she grabbed the phone and told off the bookie. And then she turned me the right side in again. Boy, I was relieved, I can tell you. Could you see and hear? My eyes were a bit runny and all I could hear was her telling me that if she ever caught me pushing another bet on with the bookie, she'd turn me inside out and leave me for good. Crikey, so what did you do? Well, I swore I'd never put another bet on with a bookie, and I never have. Who wants to spend the rest of his life inside out? I'm sure Granny wouldn't do that to you, not for the rest of your life. There's a dark side to your Granny that you don't know about, Jack. When I went to bed, I thought about Grandad hopping around inside out and unable to sit down for the rest of his life. Granny came in to kiss me goodnight and I asked her, did you really turn Grandad inside out for putting a bet on with the bookies? Did he tell you that? I nodded and slipped down till just my eyes were showing over the blankets. Granny looked at me and smiled. You don't have to believe everything that man tells you, you know. Well, he said you turned him inside out and he couldn't see or hear or sit down until you turned him out the right way again. And you said that if he put a bet on with the bookie, you'd turn him inside out again and leave him that way. Who'd dig the garden and grow the veggies if Grandad was inside out? Who'd mow the lawns? I don't want to have to clip the hedges and paint the fence and sweep the path. That's what I keep your Grandad for. He'd be no use to me inside out. Granny, you won't ever turn me inside out, will you? Never, I promise you. But I might go and turn your grandfather inside out for a moment just to teach him not to fill your head with his cock and bull stories. Oh, please don't do that to him, Granny, please. All right, I won't. Now you go off to sleep and don't worry about your grandfather. He can look after himself. Not if he's inside out, he can't. That's right. I need him the way he is. Good night. Sleep tight, darling. Don't let the fleas bite. Sleep like a tree, I said, because she said that too. Sleep like a tree and wake like a young horse. And I slept.